Hi Mario, Steve Ward here with Mercedes-Benz of Linden. Thank you so much for your business. I know Florida is a long ways away from Utah, so I'm going to go ahead and we'll go through a few things on the car and see if I can help you operate it virtually here. Congratulations on the CL250. It's I think one of the most beautiful cars on the road. You've got these beautiful DNA drop lines here. That's what Mercedes-Benz is calling this. Up front you can see that the lenses look kind of like a snake eye or an eagle eye, and then that line comes here, it follows down, and then it drops. We get this nice muscular hip here, and those design cues are something that you've seen and are continuing to see with Mercedes-Benz new lineup and all their new cars. But I think this is very avant-garde, very cutting-edge, fantastic vehicle. The CLA250 is a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, producing just a little over 200 horsepower, and it is a blast to drive, as I'm sure you've already experienced. We're going to jump inside. I'll show you a few things. Let's start here at the trunk first, but you've got should have a pass-through here. We can operate and fold down the front seats up there. Here we've got some storage. The car does not have a spare tire. Uses extended run, or also known as extended or run flat tires. So what that means is you can run this car for 50 miles at 50 miles per hour and get it to a place where we can get it repaired. As we jump inside, talking about repairs and things like that, if you look up underneath your visor right here, you're going to see that there's a little label here that says 24-hour roadside assistance, and you can call that number if you need some assistance out there on the road. Right here on the door, these buttons right here, if you notice that each button looks like a seat, it's shaped like a seat, and each one of these buttons is going to control a different portion of the seat. I can push the seat here and make it go up and down. I can push it forward and backwards here. I can kind of twist it here to cup the seat, and then of course this is the back of the seat. Because these have the coupe sport seats, it doesn't have an adjustable headrest there because it's integrated into the seat. Of course, our lock and unlock buttons. Right here's how we're going to adjust the mirrors. You've got the left mirror, we push that button, we got the right mirror, and then we use this disc here to manipulate the mirror out there and to move it. Of course, your 4 windows, one touch will make it go down automatically. We can do a quick touch up, and then this button is to lock out the rear windows if you have children in the car. Now, right up here, we have some controls that control the screen here. I personally like to look at the digital speedometer there, but you have some other sub menus. As I push these buttons here, I can look at different things, including miles per gallon. You're going to be very impressed with the per gallon ratings. I picked up a car here not too long ago in Salina, drove it back, and in doing freeway speeds through there, it's like 80, 85, and I was getting 38 miles to the gallon. So that's pretty nice bonus to having this car. It's not only fun and fast to drive, but it's very economical to own. Here we've got the menus. Here we've got 2 more buttons. If I turn these buttons, you can see that I get a couple of other options. So if I want to look at navigation, now of course this isn't equipped with navigation, and I believe yours isn't either. There is an option to add that. And then here, if we come along, maybe we wanted to look at audio. I can change my audio stations here, and I can change the volume here, all without having to use my hands and stretch over here to the stereo system. Anyway, I can go along there. There's going to be things like your telephone. You can once we pair your phone up there, then it will go. You'll see your list there. We can either do it there, we can do it there. If you notice, the other screen over here is controlled with this knob right here. Now, there's a reason why the screen is up here. And if you notice that the top of this screen is at the same height as the hood of the car, And Mercedes is doing this because it's safer. Now if I'm looking back here and I'm driving along, out of my peripheral vision, I can look at this, or I can look at the road, and I'm not having to take my eyes off the road. Now they control it with this center controller here because, again, it's safer. If I have to take the ball of my finger and I have to take the icon and I have to line these things up, I'm not looking at the road because I'm having to look here to line this up. Everything is designed to be safe on the road, that I can operate this out of my peripheral vision. And after a few days of using this, you're going to find out that this is really, really easy to use. If you notice it turns, I can push it down, I can manipulate it this way. So it's a little joystick. And then up here, everything carousels around as I twist or I select, and I can go to different options, media like my Bluetooth streaming audio, my telephone, etc. And if you notice, there's 3 tiers, and as I move this down, as I click this and I just pull it back and forth, you'll see that on the screen I'm moving, you know, through those 3 different levels, if you will, and then I can select different things this way. And then there's also a back button back here, so I can go back to the previous level. Anyway, pretty intuitive, pretty easy to use, but that's kind of the rhyme and reason why Mercedes is doing that. Let's go back here and look at the phone, for example. If I go to telephone and I push it again to bring up my menus, we're going to want to connect your telephone this way. So once this is up and I'm in the telephone mode, now also notice that there's some shortcut buttons here. So I can push radio, multimedia. I don't have to be roped into having to use that wheel. It's only handy when I go into sub-menus. So if I'm in telephone and I'm not seeing all of the options that would appear on the top and the bottom of the screen, I simply take and I press this, or bring it back here, and it shows me the 3 different tiers. Now where we want to be to program your phone is we're going to go to Connect Device, and you can see this has already got some, this one has some phones already programmed in there. But what you're going to do is you're going to say search for phones, and you're going to want to make sure that on your phone that you've got your Bluetooth turned on. You're going to say start search. It's going to look for the phone, and then one will come up here, and it should be yours, and you're going to select on it. And then on your phone, you're going to select that. And I can send you a video on how to pair the phone, also that we put together. But basically, you're going to interact with both the phone and the system here to pair that phone up, and I'll walk you through that. Another handy thing over here under Vehicle. This is where we set up things. Notice you also got your full operator's manual there. We can set the clock. We have some vehicle settings here, like locator lights under the mirrors. Do we want to turn those on? How long do we want the delay of the lights to be on? Exterior lights, how long do you want those to be on? Right now it says 0, but you could click that, and then you can set how long you want those lights to be on. And ambient lighting. So all of these kinds of things we can do to set up the car. And then we can simply hit our back button here and get back to our main menu. Down here, all the vents. I love these retro vents. Really reminds me of the SLS supercar. But I can turn them right to left, so I can turn them off, or I can turn them on, or any amount of airflow in between there. And of course, then I can articulate them in any direction there. Down here through the center, again, I showed you the shortcut buttons. Over here, we can program things like your phone. You can set up these numbers to set you know, favorite phone calls, radio stations, things like that. If I was on a radio station, I'd simply hold that button down for about 3 seconds. It would program that station. Right in here, we can enter our CD. You've got a SD card here. You can put your music on in there. This bank is going to have different options. I'm not sure yours has the heated seats just because you're in Florida and you didn't need those, as well as yours doesn't have the all-wheel drive system. It's front wheel. Here we've got some different sport modes. Now, if you notice, if I push this button right up here, I can say sport, manual, and economy. So sport's going to be a more aggressive. It's going to start out in first gear. It's going to shift more aggressive. Right here we've got paddle shifting. So if I'm in the manual mode, this is a downshift. This is an upshift. It has a dual clutch transmission, so it shifts super fast. One of the funnest parts of this car is the way that you can really manipulate and control that transmission. Right here, this A is the car. I don't know if you've noticed in some of your driving already. When you come into a stop sign or a red light or something like that, the engine's going to actually turn off. You're going to see the RPMs drop to 0. It's very subtle. As soon as you lift your foot off the brake, it immediately starts back up. Now, if that drives you crazy, you can push this button, and it will not do that. Down here we've got our climate control. We can adjust the temperature in the car. If we work over here to the other side, you can see we've got some controls here for your seat. Right here in this center section, you notice that this will move forward and backwards. If it's in the backwards position, I can pull this up, and I've got a connector for my phone. You can do some charging. If you don't have it, that's an iPhone connector. If you don't have an iPhone connector, then right down in here we have a USB port that we can plug in, and you can run up for your Android or Windows or other device. And then, of course, various compartments here and power options. Beautiful car. Congratulations. I'll give you a call. Let's see if we can, now that I've kind of given you a brief overview, you'll have some questions about what we've talked about here, and we can go from there to give you a little bit more in-depth training. Remember, though, back here for any specific questions, you do have the owner's manual. You have the book that I sent you, but you'll also have your operator's manual here. And you can go through either visually or keywords and have it walk you through and show you different parts of the car. And you can see here, we can talk about anything. We can select on those, and we can kind of have some fun going through it. And it's nice that it's right here, intuitive with the screen, as you're sitting in the seat and being able to reach out and do some things. Let's talk about one more thing before we wrap it up here, and that is this car doesn't have a motorized steering wheel adjustment. You have to unlock it, and you can come up and down, in and out, and then relock it here. Right over here we've got the cruise control. So the bottom one, we pull it back to set the cruise control. One soft tap up or down will move the speed up or down, or increase or decrease it by 1 mile per hour. If I go to a full click, it's 5 miles per hour. And then I can simply push it forward to turn it off, or I can tap the brake. This is our blinker. We turn it. This is also the wipers. And if I push that silver button in, then it's going to be the liquid. So this is multi-use. So it's the blinkers, it's the headlights, as far as the flashers, and you push it forward and lock it into place for your high beams, and then we twist it. Now what you want to do is just twist it once and leave it in the one position, and then it will be automatic. The other thing that you kind of have to get used to in this car, which I love because all of our cars are going this way, is the shifter. So we put it in gear with this mechanism up here. With this, it's kind of like the old school farm truck you learned how to drive on. But here, we freed up all this space. No more gear shifters, get in the way of your drink here and your controls here. No spilling into the expensive electronic components. It's all clean. We have some nice space here, but we simply use this. If I go up, and so if this button here pushes it, we'll put it in park. But if I take it till it clicks, it takes me into reverse, and if I go the other way till it clicks, it takes me into drive. And then I simply push that button to put it into park. Now if I did a soft click, you notice it goes into neutral. Another really cool safety feature is if I have it there in drive and I open up my door, you notice that it went to park as a safety feature. Anyway, super cool car. Congratulations. Let me know if we have some, if I can answer any of the specific questions for you, and I'd be happy to go through all of those with you as you have questions. Appreciate it, and thanks again for your business.